No, this is it, I think.
Welcome.
You want it to be a test. I definitely waited.
Welcome to another episode of the Counterculture Podcast. I'm your host, Christian, along with my great friend and co-host, Taylor.
What's up?
How's it going?
It's going good. Well, wait, do you want the honest answer or the expected answer?
Well, podcast is a form of like millennial men's therapy, so you should go ahead and express.
Well, in that case, let me get a list. No, so the correct answer, I guess, would be, no, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, and then let's keep moving with the show. The honest answer is that yesterday I decided to ride my motorcycle for the first time since we've been having like all this cold, rainy weather, right? I've been busy at work, so I've needed the materials in my truck. Mm-hmm. And I rode it yesterday. Well, in fact, I left my house with my truck. Rained a little bit for like an hour, and then it cleared up. I'm like, it's actually a decent day. So I drove home for lunch and swapped it out to my bike. Went all the way back into Katy. Did a construction meeting with like my entire team, everything there. Left, was headed back home just to pick up my truck. I didn't know if I was done for the day. I was trying to figure it out. I'm like 2 miles from my house. So I'm not even on the freeway anymore. I mean, I'm back roads like 2 miles from my house. And suddenly my bike dies. Like it throws like 3 engine codes, like the whole nine. Pull over, try to start it. It'll power on. So it's got battery. I just filled it up, so it's got fuel. But it's throwing these engine lights and it won't let me start it. Yeah. Won't let me start it. So call the wife. She's getting close to going to pick up the kids. And so it's not a good time. She's like, tell me what you need me to do. I'm like, just stand by. I'll let you know. So I'm like trying to scratch my head. Like, what am I going to do? I take off the passenger seat cover and I suddenly remember, I'm like, oh crap. There's onboard tools, like a little toolkit. So I start taking things apart and I'm doing research on my phone, like trying to figure out like, okay, what do these codes mean? What could it be? Like, is this a simple, like crank it a couple times and reset the codes and see if it'll start? I tried it all. End up dismantling my bike.
On the side of the road?
On the side of the road. I'm in some dude's gravel, like drive to his ranch. Like I see them working on horses like 100 yards away. Yeah. I'm blocking their little driveway. I'm 3 feet from the edge of this two-lane road and cars fly down this road. Yes. So I'm trying to work. It's on Kitzman between Rose Hill and Telge. Yeah. You know where it's got all those curves? Right, yeah. I'm right before one of those curves. That's good. So I'm glad the bike didn't die mid-curve because that would have been, that's never good. Yeah. Because I mean, you're mid-lane and suddenly the bike dies. Like it could either, you lose momentum. It's probably going to like drop her unless you can upright it anyways. I get the fairings taken off. I've disconnected the battery. Like I'm going through fuses and I try all this stuff and find a blown fuse. I don't got fuses with me. So I'm like, okay, I'll have the wife pick up some fuses. In the meantime, I've called her. She's just picking up the kid. She's like, I can head your way. I'm like, give me a second. I start walking down this drive like a character like Yellowstone or something. I'm like, hey, hello there, stranger. Like trying not to look suspicious. Outcome was walking this like old rugged cowboy looking dude wearing like a vest, and he's disgruntled looking. He's got a mustache, and his healer is like right up at his heels, like a trained dog. And I want to be like, I have a healer too. He's not trained like that. He's mean and won't let the kids near him. But and I ask him like, hey, sorry to bother you. And I stopped because I didn't want to like walk into his property. I'm like, hey, my bike broke down. Like long story short, he had a pack of 10 amp fuses. Oh, okay. There's a box of like 5. Mine was a 10 amp, a little red mini fuse. Because with cars, you either got the full size or the minis. Right. He happened to have a box of them. Happened to be the right color, the right amp, everything. He gives me one. I'm like, thank you. Should have asked him for the whole dang box knowing what was going to happen. But I take the one. I put it in. 2 out of the 3 engine lights go away. So like, I'm not going to bore you with all the codes, but they go away. And I just have a check engine light now. But it allows me to start it. Good. Button up the fairings, good to go. Kid you not. I tell the wife, hey, I've got it working. I'll be home in a minute. Meanwhile, remember, I'm 2 miles from my house. So I get going. I pass like the last 2 curves and I'm on the straightaway heading towards one of the last few roads from my house. I'm about half a mile, not quarter mile to half a mile from where I was just broke down. I'm driving about 45 miles an hour. Like everything shuts down again. Like, are you kidding? This time I'm like, I know how to reach my hand in to get to the fuse box without having to take everything off because I learned what my fuse box was.
Right.
And I pull over, pop it off, same fuse, blew again.
No way.
It's the same freaking fuse. So I'm right across from a rusted down like little machine shop.
Yeah.
The sign is faded. It's falling apart, but I'm like, hey, went knock on the door. Nobody's there. Security cameras everywhere. I end up going to the back shop where I hear them blare music, knock on the door a couple times. You got these signs saying, smile, you're on camera. And I'm like, I'm about to get shot. I'm like, I'm about to get shot, you know? It's like 4 o'clock at this point. It's like drizzling rain. It's like cloudy. I just like very ominous. I'm like, I'm going to get shot. So I start walking back towards my bike.
This is the kind of scene that a Netflix documentary is filmed on.
Pretty much. I end up calling the number on the sign. They answer. I'm like, hey, broke down. I'm in front of your shop. I was just trying to see if anybody had fuses, blah, blah, blah. He's like, we're back here in the back building. I'm like, yeah, I was just there. I was knocking. You know, there's music on. He goes, oh, that's me. Don't worry. I'll just come on back. Come on right in. He wants me to just walk in. So I end up like walking in, tell him the story. He ends up having like one fuse I could use, but it's too big. So I walked to a couple businesses like that are right there. One's like a granite shop. One's like this lumber yard. Nobody had fuses. By the time I'm going through all this, my brother-in-law was at my house. He's like, I got fuses. So he drives over. I go through 3 fuses. Pops every time. Boom, boom, boom. The last fuse, I even went bigger. It's supposed to be a 10 amp. I went all the way up to like a 20 and it blew it right away. So it would start right up. Boom. So I'm like, something's bad. It's either like a short in the wire somewhere.
Yeah.
Or something's grounding out or a bad sensor. But I had to leave it. So I asked him if I can leave my Ducati inside this machine shop. And they're super nice. He was like, whatever, you know, take all you need. You want to pull it in? I'm like, no, I'll probably leave it out here while I'm trying to figure it out. I might get a truck and try to put it in. Yeah, I'm not wanting to put my Ducati in the back of a truck. Especially my truck. It's, you know, it's too tall. By the time I'm trying to do wooden ramps, it's slippery and it's already getting dark because it's daylight savings time or whatever.
Yeah.
So I take my keys. I let them roll it into their shop. And I'm like, all right, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. See when it's a good time I can come by. Fortunately, it was all still there today. Super nice guys. Was talking with them. He's like, I ended up renting a motorcycle trailer from U-Haul today. So about 1 o'clock, I picked it up. So I finished everything I had to do at work, pick up the U-Haul, take the trailer over there, and I load it up myself, get it back, drop the trailer off. But they were like, oh man, you should have told me if you're going to do a trailer. I got a motorcycle trailer at my place. I could have let you borrow. I'm like, you've done enough. I appreciate it. But it's good to know that there's still some nice people out there because he was like, I was telling him about, because he's kind of like a mechanic. It's a machine shop.
Yeah.
They had old Jeeps in there, a bunch of toolboxes. I'm like, I came to the right place. And I was telling him about like how I was probably going to solder it. I'm like, if I find the short, what do you think I should just cut it out? Blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, and solder it together. I was like, my soldering iron sucks. You know, I'll probably have to get another one. It won't even solder. And he's like, come over here. And he's trying to let me take his soldering iron and everything else. I'm like, I'll just get one from like Harbor Freight. Like, you've done enough. I don't want to have to like, but again, super nice. But my bike could have been gone the next day. I could have showed up and they're like, we've never seen you before.
Like,
what motorcycle? Bike? Yeah.
That's where you'd be like, hey, let me see the camera footage.
Yeah. So.
And then that's when they shoot you and kill you.
Probably. I've got a warrant. Let's see the footage. Hopefully you're wearing level 4 plates. No.
I'm actually an undercover cop. You're under arrest.
It was all a sting. No. Now I got to figure out if I can even fix it myself because electrical sucks. Or if I got to go get it diagnosed, and there's like 2 places in Houston that work on those exotics and stuff. And I called around. They charge $130 an hour just to diagnose. That's not even repair. So I'm like, hopefully I can find it. If not, this is about to get expensive. Should have bought a Kawasaki or something. But
moral of the story: always go Japanese.
Hey, my bike is sexy, but comes with a price. It's like getting a Ferrari and then getting upset that you can't afford the paint, you know, to fix it. Clearly, it wasn't meant for you, but whatever.
Yeah. That is a good analogy.
Hey,
So, well, I certainly hope that turns out. I hope it turns out all right.
Yeah,
I mean, you're pretty hands-on guy.
Thank
so
you.
I think you'll be able to figure it out.
The good thing is, it's not like it's my only mode of transportation, so I can afford to.
Yes.
I'm telling you, like I had it all taken apart on the side of the road. I don't know if y'all can see that, but yeah. Anyways. So, enough about me. I'll be fine. Don't worry.
Enough
I only
about
cried
me.
myself to sleep last night on the pillow. The wife was rubbing my back. It'll be okay.
It's gonna be all right. Sure, she's lost sleep, with the baby, but
She was up every hour last night.
No, really?
Yeah, kids have been kind of on and off sick. I think the youngest is like teething or going through some kind of sleep regression, so it's been rough.
Yeah, the last couple nights, it's been the same. Well, luckily, I should say, thankfully, when he gets in our bed, if he wakes up in the middle of the night, he like calms down and goes to sleep. But it clearly his like top molars, just popping through. So he's been very irritable for like the last 3 days.
And you want to just like, okay, we know it's coming. It's been 2 nights in a row. Let's give him ibuprofen before bed. Let it like work for 20 minutes. But then you're on like day 4 of ibuprofen. You're like, are we bad parents?
Yeah.
Like,
am I going to kill my child?
I might just dose him up. Like, is this addictive? No, it's just ibuprofen. But it's not like I'm giving my baby whiskey and rubbing his gums,
Probably be a little easier. I've asked. I've tried. No, man.
They don't drink it. It just goes on the gums.
Yeah, it just numbs it, and then they fall asleep. They're not gonna die.
Sleep real good.
I know I do. So, speaking of parenting, we have a couple and marriage. We have a couple interesting things that I want us to talk about tonight. So I guess before we jump into it, make sure you like, subscribe. Share the show with your friends, right? Hit the notification bell so you get notified when we upload an episode. And if you prefer the audio version, right, you can find us on Apple and Spotify to be able to listen to us on your commutes to work or while you're working out.
It is current. It is
current. It is current. But yeah, you can listen to us commute to work while you're working out, on a jog, hiking.
I listen to myself while working out, so you should too. Not listen to yourself, listen to us. But no, can you imagine if I actually listened to our own podcast while working out?
It would be a bit strange.
Is that pretty conceited? Conceited the right word?
I guess it depends, because if you're like if you were one of those like super,
it's like some actors don't watch their own movies, But then that one guy who watches his own stuff, like he worships himself. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to imagine it'd be very weird to like sit down and be like, yeah, it's me on screen. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, although every actor watches the premiere of their film, because it's premiere.
They go to the premiere, but who's really checking to see if they're staying in their seat the whole time? Then they just come in at the end for the applause.
Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah,
the standing up.
Yeah. I guess if you were like one of those individuals that like heavily critiques themselves, if you're listening to it, you're like, okay, I did this. I could have done this better. That wasn't very good.
Well, do you listen to our stuff every now and then?
Not really, no.
See, me neither. I mean, unless I'm editing or I go back to like put it on to be funny with the wife or something. Just she'll just like hear the intro, or I check to make sure the quality came out good through the. Other than that, like no, I don't like to hear my own voice.
Well, yeah, well, there's that, and then also we don't do those audio clips anymore, so therefore I have no reason to like listen, go back.
We could start again though.
We could, but I really don't want to.
Yeah, we're kind of bad.
Yeah. It'd be more productive to do like that video thing that you found.
Oh, that AI thing?
Yeah, where it then we could just post video clips.
I don't want to enable Skynet. You know what I mean? I don't want to aid and abet Skynet.
It's too late. We are already there, right? We have come too far. It's gonna happen.
So you're saying make friends with the robots?
Might as well.
Is that like? I mean, you kind of pay for the service, so it's not like it's indentured servitude. So maybe they won't be upset by it. Yeah.
It's hard to say. I don't know.
Time will tell.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched a video of somebody talking about they asked Chat GPT how would AI take over the world, which I think is a very bizarre thing to do. But like the dude was like kind of freaked out by it because it like walked through a step-by-step plan of how like artificial intelligence could take over.
Chat GPT or whatever. That's the AI chat form.
Right? Yeah. So I think it's funny that you'd ask AI how AI would take over the world.
It's like reverse psychology.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like, how smart are you?
Yeah. It makes you think, maybe did that guy actually figure out the answer and we're too stupid to realize it, and that's how their AI will actually take over everything?
Could be.
It's hard to say. I don't know. AI is very fishy to me. We were talking about this when we went to go pick up my Traeger. About, I think that's what. Yeah. We were talking about artificial intelligence.
I think so.
Because also That, and then also talking about things like oh dang it, what's the thing that Elon's doing? I was gonna say Skynet, but it's not Skynet. What is it?
Isn't he building like a robot though too?
Is he? I don't know what he's on. Like he's doing 50 million things.
Yeah, he's like that.
Trying to colonize
He's
Mars.
like that husband who starts like 6 projects but never finishes one.
I don't know anyone like that.
Not relatable to me at all.
I don't know anyone like that.
There's no baseboards in this office.
No.
Besides the one that I installed for the camera but didn't even paint yet.
Yeah. Hey, there's a reason that there's a saying it's a work in progress. So.
Get what you paid for. I'm the man that you married. Okay. Looks like I'm talking to my wife. She doesn't watch this either.
No, mine doesn't either. So.
It's like they get enough of us already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, why would they bother watching and listening to us talk when they can just do that in person?
They tuned me out already, so. Speaking of marriage
and raising children, this first story is actually from a few months ago, but I've been wanting to talk about it, and we would have talked about it sooner. I know I brought it up sort of, I think, in our last recording or the one before that. I don't know. A lot of stuff's been happening. All right. We've been very, whatever.
It's the holidays. Get off our back.
Yeah.
Get out of my head.
It's the holiday season.
Holiday season.
Yeah. A whoop-de-doo, a dickory-dock. All right? Or whatever the hell the guy says.
So the mouse run up the clock?
With a pair of socks? Dang it. The S's at the end of sock didn't really work on the rhyme. Anyway. So, as many people know, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have been separated now for a little while. Getting divorced. And just like anyone else, obviously.
What's the daughter's name? Like South by Southwest or something?
Northwest. Close enough.
Hey.
So, and then they have a son named Saint West. Very strange. Whatever. Celebrities. A little strange. Kanye West, strangest of them all. Right? You gotta love him though.
Pretty sure he's got the tism.
I think he is on the spectrum.
I think we've talked about this. Even if it's Asperger's.
Yes.
And I put the meat in it on burgers for sure. So.
Is that like the clip I sent you today?
Yes, it is. Theo Von clip with he's talking with Rogan. Because it's Asperger's or something.
I hear Asperger's.
Everybody since high school has always been Asperger's.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I don't know.
Theo Von's like, I'm putting the meat in it. Dude, he's wild.
I think I texted you. I just watched Theo Von clips during lunch today.
See, I haven't actually watched a full stand-up with him, but...
all I do is I see clips of him on the internet, and they just fucking make me laugh, dude. He's just the weirdest shit.
He's sharp. He's quick with it. He's better with, like, bouncing off other people.
Yeah.
And, like... But I don't know how his full stand-up routine would be.
Yeah.
Because Matt Rife was kind of similar, but Matt Rife, to me, did his special bombed. But he's good, like, in the little clips you watch and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. All I know is from what I've seen, he makes me laugh.
Speaking of Matt Rife, he's, like, quasi-canceled. Did you see that?
I mean, sort of. I mean...
even past the whole domestic abuse part.
Well, yeah, because he's, like,
beefing with a 6-year-old.
Yeah, or something.
But the 6-year-old using his mom's platform, so the mom kind of, like... And they were arguing like whether Jupiter has rings or not or something stupid. And then Matt Rife came back to the 6-year-old like, blah, blah, blah. Jupiter has rings too. And your mom only makes money off OnlyFans and like all this kind of stuff. But it's like to a 6-year-old. I'm like, dude. All right. Like.
Whatever. Matt Rife making fun of a kid. His mom having OnlyFans is really not the worst thing I've ever heard.
You shouldn't go after a comedian. I mean, sometimes they got no...
Yeah, they're going to roast you. They are going to roast you. Like, I'm sorry. They are. Like, yeah, you should.
Comedians get canceled like every other week. They come back.
If they're any good, they get canceled.
Yeah.
But again.
Some never come back.
Well, who's never come back, though?
Like Louis C.K. That's for other reasons, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that was all a Me Too thing. It was weird. What did he get? He was like.
He liked to like whip his thing out in front of like others and they'd just be uncomfortable in the corner like.
Yeah, I don't know. And Louis C.K., I mean, I've always found, like, I would find his comedy funny, but at the same time, I would be laughing. I'd also be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
That's kind of like Theo, though, but for a different reason.
Yeah, mostly just like, wait, what did you just say? But anyway, yeah, I guess that did kind of happen with Louis C.K. But again, a lot of comedians seem to have like tried to come back and like kind of have his back. I think he tried to make a bit of a comeback like a year or two ago, and it's just never really.
Yeah, Me Too screwed over a lot of people.
Yeah,
I mean, it's important. I mean, good for women and all that, but I mean, a lot of men got screwed over by false accusations, I feel like, but only time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Me Too move as a movement did more damage than it did good, because I think to your point, I think it proved
it was a witch hunt. Let's call it what it is.
I think it proved to.
It was mob mentality, and nobody wanted to be like, oh, let's question it. So if enough people got together and like, oh, I have a story too, it just dogpiled. I mean, who was the one from that 70s show that went through? But I think he was just found not guilty. I don't know if it means he didn't do it, but in front of a grand jury, he was.
I don't know what his name is, but I know what the guy you're talking about. He's like the Afro guy or whatever. Yeah.
But apparently he was part of that whole thing and SA allegations and all that. But apparently he just got found not guilty. But a lot of people are upset because they think it was just like the jury is just what they voted, whether they think it actually happened or not. I don't know. Yeah,
well, I mean, that's our legal system. I mean, you have to you prove that you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, when it comes to things like SA, it's harder to quantify, right? Because it's not like, with murder, you just
somebody's dead.
Right, you just look at the body, right? With versus like
this is literally he said, she said.
Yeah, and again, that's where I think the Me Too movement did more harm than good, because I think it tried to redefine what sexual assault is, because a lot of times it would include maybe like unwanted advances to the point of like a hug or like a kiss on the cheek, which again, you shouldn't do that to someone if they don't want to. Like, I'm not saying that's okay.
Yeah.
But of course, that is a much different thing to what actual sexual assault actually is, especially on the more violent end, right? Like that's a very serious evil crime.
It's almost like being a disservice to those who actually go through something.
Correct, right? And that's what it is that it seems to do more harm to
a lot of it seemed to be like money grab and
it was just it was a way for Melissa Milano, right, to be relevant again, because she hasn't been relevant in like 30 years since she went like topless in like 94 or whatever.
Who's that?
She's an actress. She was one of the actresses that was like really big in like getting the Me Too movement, but again, like Alyssa Milano hasn't been relevant since the 80s or 90s, and so
whatever happened with Weinstein? Is he like in jail or dead?
He's in jail, I think. Yeah.
See that? I mean, that was important. I mean, you look at your Brendan Frasers and a lot of other people.
Here's the thing, though. Like the thing that I just get. Is it a good thing? Yes, but what the issue is that, again, it was like a running joke in Hollywood. Everyone knew it was happening, but they didn't do anything about it until it became advantageous to throw him under the bus. Then we want to say something about it. Like, because maybe you haven't seen these clips, but you can find like all kinds of clips of actors and comedians and everything joking about things having to do with Harvey Weinstein.
It's like, hey, do you want to make it big? You know what you got to do.
Right. Like one of the most notable ones in the last like decade was Seth MacFarlane, right? It was the women that were up for like the Best Actress award, and his intro was, here are the five. I think he said, here are the 5 women who no longer have to pretend to like Harvey Weinstein, right? And it's like, it's an open joke. Like, they know this is happening. Like, there's a reason why.
Yep.
Not only is there's the idea of the casting couch, right? But I think there's like a statue of the casting couch in LA, right? Because it's like an unsaid thing that they know it's happening.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, so yes, it's good because what he did was bad, but like, you were all okay with it. You all knew it was happening.
Well, it's because you wanted to advance your career.
Mm-hmm.
It only became a problem once you had done it, made your money, and wanted to cry about it. I don't know. I was making it sound like
it only became a problem when it became advantageous for it to be a quote unquote problem.
Right.
To them.
To my understanding, nobody was like forced to. It would have detrimented their career.
Yeah, I think it was.
But it's not like you were like forced and locked into a room kind of situation.
I mean, yeah, as far as you know, but certainly it was at the bare minimum. Unfortunately, that may have happened, but we know the bare minimum it was basically a quid pro quo of,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to do this, but if you did, we have this, this contract with Paramount for 5 films, and it's $10 million, and I don't know, and this poor young woman most of the time is desperate, has no money.
So this is Hollywood, eh?
Yeah, it's like so I don't know. So what are we talking about? Oh yeah,
Hollyweird, yeah.
So when you get down to the okay,
the nitty gritty.
Have you watched? I know we're like totally off the rails, but I don't care. There's
This is what the people want.
Documentary on Netflix called Night Stalker. Have you watched it?
That's not the movie with by the same name with what's his face, is it? It's not Heath Ledger. Who's the other one?
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
No, it's not that. That's Nightcrawler.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Night Stalker is about a serial murderer in LA.
Rough.
That shit was fucking scary. You should watch it.
You're a big documentary guy, though.
Dude, again, one of Netflix's best things are their documentaries. I am a big documentary dude, especially if it's like.
Well, we started a documentary last night. I thought it was going to be more like stand-up, but it ended up being more like a documentary. It's that one about Kevin Hart and Chris Rock. We're like 3/4 of the way through it. It's called like Two Headliners or The Headliners.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, just released.
Okay. Is it funny?
So, but it's got some little parts that you kind of like chuckle at, but it's just them almost being followed by like a camera because they're doing a series of shows in New York where they're both headlining. And the rule of thumb in showbiz or comedy is that you can't have 2 headliners. You have somebody opens and you have the headliner.
Yeah.
But they were saying, now we're breaking the mold. We're doing 2 headliners.
Well, they're both very funny.
Yeah.
Comedians.
So it's been kind of interesting. It talks about their upbringing, their problems, how well they work together, and kind of like how they came together to do this like joint venture kind of deal.
Yeah. I find documentaries very much, I don't know. I just like them as just the format of it. Like we were actually watching another documentary on Netflix called Escaping Twin Flames. I would not suggest it. It's not very good.
It's 9/11?
Huh?
9/11 or no?
No, it's called, so it's about these people. All right, this couple named Jeff and Shalia Aon or something like that. And twin flames is like this concept that there's this one person like you're like destined to be with. It basically like it's your soulmate, but they call twin flames, right? Like, the 2 flames. Very weird. It started out good, but then it turned into this weird, like, I felt like very propagandistic, like about gender and trans stuff. It was like.
But you're so far in that you're hoping it rounds the corner and gets better.
Yeah.
And then it just never did.
Yeah, because I was hoping for something more scandalous, and I didn't get anything really scandalous.
Ooh, you wanted the tea? You wanted the drama?
Yeah, just something to really like, really sink my teeth into, and I just didn't get that. Because that's why we like, Christina and I love crime or
like the Making a Murderer and all that.
Yeah, I like that. Well, what's funny about Making a Murderer is Candace Owens did like basically like a rebuttal documentary to that, which watching both of them, Stephen Avery is in jail and he should be, in my opinion.
You said he should be?
Yes, he should be.
Okay.
So Netflix is lying. Well, the documentary makers are full of shit. Is all I have to say about that. And if you want to, right, check out, you just need to go to Daily Wire Plus, # not a sponsor. If they wanted to, they could. So, yeah,
we're good with just whiskey. Like, just.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, if you want to sponsor us and just ship bottles of, like,
Bourbon.
Buffalo.
Yeah. Or a private labeled Daily Wire bottle of bourbon would be cool.
And cigars.
Don't overdo it. You're pushing.
I don't think I'm asking for too much. So, but yeah, no, I think, documentaries are just, I don't know, they're fun. I think.
Yeah.
And I think it's what Netflix is best at, because they make a lot of crap at Netflix as far as like TV shows and movies. A lot of them are really suck. Most of their documentaries are actually quite good.
I'm okay with that. I like documentaries. It's not the first thing I'll click on, but I do find them interesting, like the Super Size Me and like all those different ones. Like, it's full of information, but you got to watch out for documentaries because a lot of them will be biased towards a point of view.
Yes.
Like there's a ton, like especially when they show these certain docs in school and you walk out like, whoa. And then you'll talk to somebody who's actually kind of slightly like learned, whatever.
Yeah.
In that topping, like, yeah, well, that's pretty much true, but there's also this, and this. You know, you could watch an entire documentary on the carnivore diet that's through the lens that it's bad, and you come out like, these people shouldn't be doing that. Like, and you go home, like, and your dad's doing it. You're like, Dad, you need to stop because I watched this, you know.
And your dad's lost 20 pounds, and he's like...
Feels better than ever. Like, your cholesterol, you're going to have a heart attack. And then you watch a different documentary where it's talking about the benefits of it and explains why, you know, that high cholesterol, you know, the numbers are bad, but in reality, your blood's better and thinner than ever. You know, it's not going to be clogging, going to a heart attack, even though the levels are reading higher. It's reading higher because of how your cholesterol is being read and made, whatever, go into it. But you do your own research, and my point is through the lens of that doc.
Yeah.
You can come out. So I like to go in to learn things, but I try not to be like, I don't know.
You have to be, I think your point is like recognize like,
I don't want to have one pulled over.
If they're overly positive or overly negative on something, that might tell you like where the documentary maker, where they kind of stand on the situation. I think to your point, like where they'll stand on a topic, you know what I mean? So
yeah, because you could have one that's like, I was watching one, it was like, I think it was about like carnivore, and it was talking about, they were bringing in these athletes and they were testing them before and after, and one was like an all meat, and then there was another documentary where it was like, how plants are trying to kill you, and there's another documentary where it's like, you know, you should only be eating plants. You know, just like, you can walk out of each one and be like, have 6 different viewpoints and be like,
what's funny is
nothing's good for you, but everything's bad for you.
Yeah. Everything's bad for you, but everything's good for you. Yeah. Right. But what's funny is all vegan, all plant diet is actually not good for you, because that's not how we're made. Clearly, like, we're not made for that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why cows have like 4 stomachs to digest that kind of stuff.
Correct.
And people are like, oh, well, a cow can eat just grass and they've got big muscles. You ever seen a bull and all it eats is grass? It doesn't eat meat for protein. Like, yeah, its body's different. It breaks the stuff down differently.
Are you a cow, sir?
Like, we have canines for a reason. Like, I'm not saying we can't be omnivores, but hey, I mean, we had to fight for our food. But to that effect, I mean, not to go on a tangent, why do you think this stuff's trending now about going on fasting, doing like these ice baths and stuff? It's all about stressing your body because, no offense, we've become comfortable as a species. That's why we're getting sick. That's why we're getting cancer and things like that. If you want to look into other superstitious and government red tape and conspiracy stuff, you could talk about what's in the water, the seed oils and all that.
They're turning the frogs gay.
It could be all of it. But there's a big point of that we're not stressing our bodies and everything's too convenient. Nobody's getting up. Nobody's really exercising. Even if you are, I mean, your food, you're eating 3 square meals a day minimum. Our ancestors were running 50 miles a day chasing buffalo, and then they feasted in one heavy meal and tried to save the rest because they couldn't save the meat. So it was called a feast for a reason. You like gorged yourself, and then you used everything that was like left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the idea of like you're saying 3 square meals a day, every day, no matter what, for majority of human civilization, that just wasn't the case.
Yeah, there's a lot of people right now
if
who
you want to go into, let's say, modern history, going into like, let's say, post, Industrial Revolution or the Enlightenment, still majority of the people have been very poor.
Mm-hmm.
For most of that time, And so really, I don't know, the 50s after World War II, right, is when there was any sort of idea of a true middle class where the average person kind of was going to be okay. I mean, before, I would say that's probably the most recent. I could be wrong. The most recent time where majority of the people were not worried about necessarily getting food, right? On a daily basis,
Yeah.
right? Where prior to that,
well, capitalism happened too, and everything, and preservatives, canning food. I mean, before that, I mean, was there box mac and cheese at the store? Was there Campbell's soup? Like these things started becoming popular on the shelves, and they had longer and longer shelf life, and they were starting to use preservatives, food dyes, all this kind of stuff, and it was like it made the rest of the world look like, holy crap, America has so much food. Look at this, and no offense, the rest of the world kind of copied. It was Westernism, But yeah, you go to the grocery store now, and I mean, fortunately, there's kind of a growing trend in the last year or so to go back to working with like raw or what's the word? Like whole ingredients. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like raw ingredients, things like that, and making something. But it's almost more expensive to do that now. It's like they don't want you to. Why is like raw vegetables and stuff almost more expensive than like a bag of chips or things like that? It's cheaper to buy junk food.
They want you docile and lazy.
Yeah.
Because you're easier to manipulate. I do think you could say that's conspiracy there. And
there's a reason why they use the word sheep.
Well, there's that. But I think, is there an aspect where, yes, obviously the United States is a ginormous country, and to be able to get food to every corner of the country, there is an aspect where are you going to have to do some of these things?
No, but you don't have to.
Sure. I think some things, sure, because you have to make sure
it's local. Make your own stuff. What happened with canning? People in the Midwest during the Dust Bowl, like people would can their own stuff. They learn how to take these raw ingredients, make them good, but also give them a stable, long shelf life. If the apocalypse happened tomorrow, or the Civil War or whatever, if you haven't seen that trailer, you should probably check it out. A23 film. I like A23. But, or A24. Is it A23 or A24? The studio.
A24, the studio. Yeah.
But something like that were to happen. Do you know how to make your own toilet paper? Do you know what leaves you can and can't use? I'm not going back to the prepper type stuff because I'm not ready myself.
Here we go again.
Let's go. But like, unless you got a field guide or something, like you don't know what plants are edible. If you're on the run or something like that, good luck finding food if it's not in a granola bar that you found at 7-Eleven on your way to like into the wilderness. Like we don't know how to do that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know if you didn't have a fridge, how to preserve, even if you killed a deer or a rabbit, 90% of it's going to go to waste unless you know how to preserve it or dry it out or salt it or smoke it. Like we don't know.
And you can't bring a Traeger into the woods.
You can't. You cannot. You can try, but you will die. It's going to slow you down. I'll show you. But that's why, no offense, we are too comfortable being a major world power. And we've been a world power for probably too long because the American people have gotten soft. The rest of the world, I mean, there's, aside from Europe, which is pretty up there too, but like Russia, dude, those people are still like, a lot of them aren't in the cities. They're farmers or they're doing this. They know how to take care of themselves if shit hits the fan. Like China, I don't know how they train their people, but China's on their own. But the rest of the world, they're living off the land. They know how to do all that. All they have to do is take us out, whether it's our supply chain, our energy grid, the internet, just even the internet, like some kind of mass EMP or something like that. America's going to start destroying itself from the inside out.
I mean, it already is in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but that's politics and social media and everything else.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what scares me. It's like we don't know how to make our own food. Do you know how to make bread from flour? Just raw flour?
I think Christina does.
Can you do it in a cast iron on like a cowboy on a campfire? Do you have if you didn't have like active self-rising yeast, how would you do it? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm asking a question.
Well, yeah. I mean,
how do you make flour? Do you know how to go find wheat? Do you know how to grind it down? Do you know how to make a mill? Like crap.
Well, again, that's
why the nerds are going to win. The ones who've been playing Minecraft for all these years and they're prepper and they have no friends, but they picked up all these useful skills from the Boy Scouts and the Eagle Scouts will win. I'll tell you what.
Find out who's an Eagle Scout local to you. That'll make sure you can
call your local troop.
Call the local troop. Yeah.
Scoutmaster Eric will be happy to help with his knee-high socks. I don't know.
Okay, so
yeah, back to Kim Kardashian.
Christ Almighty. So I got to be quick with this because I really want to talk about the other thing more, and I don't want to necessarily put this off anymore. So the reason why I want to talk about this is it's an article from People Magazine, actually, the stupid magazine you see at the grocery store. It says Kim Kardashian reveals she hired a manny to influence son Saint and shares ex Kanye West reaction. So Kardashian, or Kim, admits discipline does not come easy to her as a parent. That's because she's a mom. So she said, right, it's really hard for me to be really strict and to discipline a lot. My parents weren't strict at all. Sometimes because I'm really busy, it would be amazing if I had a partner who would be able to tap me out and take over and handle it. But, it can't happen like that. Now, she did have a partner, the dad, Kanye, that they ended up getting divorced, right? So she then said, I do think that my household and even our family is very female dominant. No shit.
No way.
Yeah. I recently hired a manny. I really wanted a male around that would be picking them up and taking them to sports. And I was scared out of mind to tell their dad, right? So, with that.
Yeah, that pissed me off without the father.
Well, apparently, Kanye's was kind of cool about it, which, whatever. Maybe he just did that so that he can, see his kids.
Better, faster, stronger.
Yeah, exactly. But, again, I wanted to just talk about that just kind of quickly, just because it's just funny to me that, again, she brings up that, as a single parent, because she has the kids most of the time, she has no support from a partner because she divorced him, and then instead of maybe trying to mend the relationship with Kanye and get back together, her idea of getting a male influence is to hire a manny to try to be the male role model in their life, right?
Hired
While
help.
dad's not around.
Yeah, just freaking hired help. Why not just, even if you don't work it out, why not just have the dad play a bigger role in the child's life?
Well, I guess you could do that, but yeah, I guess for me it's just I find it really ironic because it's like, again, you did have.
You're talking preventative. I'm talking the damage is done. How do you, instead of hiring help, let the father still have an active role or a heavier role in the child's life? To your point, if you're going to go into this and make those vows and do all that, then you got to stick to it, especially if we're going to bring kids into it.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, the bigger point. I mean, yes, to your point, if the damage is already done, I mean, the only cure is to get Kanye more involved as much as possible. But again, preventative, it's like, look, not only did you take these vows, right, to be married, but then also, like you said, when you bring kids into it, you owe it to them to make sure you guys can stick together.
I'm surprised Kim is even self-aware enough to even realize or recognize that her son needs more of a male presence in his life.
Well, there is that, right? Which is
so much with the soft parenting and my son Aiden, we don't tell him no. We don't like the N word. Things like that and that soft parenting. Mm-hmm. And then they have these wild and crazy 13-year-olds have never had discipline in their life and it's far too little too late. So I don't know. I'm kind of impressed that she's even recognizing it. But again, if you cared so much, you should have been aware of it before divorce was such an easy answer.
Right. And I think that's the thing about, in those situations where, again, I guess I kind of lost my train of thought, but I think you make the biggest point that I guess you have to appreciate that she has awareness enough, but it's like, but again, like you had this, and again, it's as far as we know. Yeah. I mean, and there was certainly no allegations made, so therefore, I think I can say this pretty confidently. Like, Kanye wasn't physically abusive, right? He wasn't verbally abusive.
That we know of, yeah.
Right, and so it's like
they just fell out.
Yeah, and again, it's
like a lot of celebrity marriages do.
Yeah,
unfortunately, with kids involved.
Yeah, and so like those kids are there to kind of take the brunt of it, and again, that's like every divorce situation. I mean, the kids are stuck with this ripped apart family, and
at least they're wealthy.
It's gonna create. Do I? I
said at least they're wealthy.
Well, I mean, sure, at least money is not
when
the
they
problem,
go to tennis camp for the entire summer, they can tell. I don't know.
Well, it's still the trauma that will certainly be created. For those children because of it, because again, it happens no matter what. Like the trauma is there, and it's gonna be
like my motorcycle, deep trauma.
Indeed, exactly. It's exactly like your relationship.
Why'd you bring it up? But no, I mean, it's just ironic that that's the route she went. I've never even heard of a Manny before, but there you go. Manny.
I had never really heard of it as a concept.
I should propose that to my wife. We should get a Manny. Maybe I'll get some more time for myself. Someone just to sub in, like, all right, Manny, you got this. I'm taking 2 hours. No?
Yeah, run it by Britt and
let
me know how it goes.
Go for a couple bike rides. I don't know if it was working. I guess I'll use the one with the pedals.
So I don't. I'm stuck. I don't know if I want to talk about this just because I want plenty of time to talk about it.
Get like 13 minutes. How long you want?
Like maybe 20?
20? It's up to you.
Do we talk about it or do we save it for next week?
Next week. What are you thinking? Thursday?
Yeah.
Could work. Because Christmas isn't until Monday. Yeah.
So, you know what?
Could be a Christmas special plus this story.
I like that. You know what we should do? Because we did top 10 Christmas films. Should for the Christmas special, should we do like our top 5 Christmas songs?
Could.
Should we?
Have we done that before though?
No, I don't think so. We just did movies.
Okay. I could see it. We'll talk.
Okay.
If you want to see that or more, leave a comment and let us know what you want to see next episode.
Yeah.
On the Christmas special.
Yeah. So I think we'll do that, but I guess I'll add with this. So we'll close since we're gonna close out with this story because we got so sidetracked. But hey, you know what? This is what
if you've watched it, this is what you want.
You know what you're getting, right? Not every episode is gold. I mean, it is to me, but. Is it Yellowstone, right? We're drinking?
Yeah.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Yeah.
Oh, but I wish they were.
God, I like it. So I told you.
It's so good.
We got our regulars. Larceny's good. But this is smoother than Larceny.
Yeah, it is.
Larceny's drinks like a nice heavy weeded bourbon.
Yeah.
So.
It's been a while since I've had Larceny, actually.
You can't beat the price though.
No, it's not.
It's went up like $1 or $2. It's like $25 now.
Thanks, Biden. Dude, I'm telling you, man. So I was talking to this coworker, and they were asking like, "Hey, like, do you guys have property taxes in Texas?" I'm like, "Yeah, we do." And they were like, "My property taxes have doubled in the last 2 years." I'm like, "That sucks."
Yeah. No, it's not even. It's real.
Yeah.
Why do you think we keep contesting it every year?
Oh yeah, but also you got to do the homestead thing though.
Yeah, turns out we're homesteaded for the last 2 years or whatever, but still, it's crazy.
Still, well, because now
homestead helps out a little bit. It's not like what you think. It's like a little bit of a credit back.
Yeah, I know for us, they said it could be a couple $100 off mortgage every month.
Yeah, so it ends up being like we got like $2,000 back for like 1 year and like another something like that.
Well, they raised the amount that you can write off is not the right way to put it, but they basically raised it to $100,000. So
yeah, I don't know exactly how all it works. Kind of confusing. This is they should be teaching you in school.
Yeah, well, I think if we talk
how to do your taxes,
if we spoke with a realtor or probably just a tax professional, they'd be able to explain.
Yeah, but again, they had to go to school for that.
Yeah,
the public should know this stuff. There's a reason why they don't want to teach it in school, and it all came down to Rockefeller and the creation of the IRS and the Federal Reserve and all that. They want us to be dumb and just here, get a new car, like focus on the gimme, and they don't want their people.
Oh yeah, knowledgeable. I mean consumerism it's destroyed the country.
It's all a blight. But hey, I like new cars like everybody else, but I also want to know like it shouldn't just be the wealthy or the elite who can take advantage of tax laws and different like credits and loopholes. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think you would think that for like senior year of high school, whatever, there'd be an emphasis on preparing individual, young men and women for becoming an adult, right? Understanding taxes, understanding different types of investments. Now, and again, you don't have to go into deep, detail on ETFs and how they work or versus individual stock. Like you don't need to do that, but
but the basic knowledge,
and then
be able to should be basic
give
core
resources
curriculum for high school.
Yeah,
like back in the 50s, you watch something like a movie like Grease or something. Like you would think like, okay, whether you wanted to or not, maybe the men take auto tech or
welding,
home economics, or home ec.
Yeah,
home economics. Yeah. So you learn how to kind of cook and cut vegetables and how to sew a little bit. I'm not saying that's just the women's course. My brother took home ec, whatever. Explains a lot. Just kidding. I took auto tech, but no, like you should be like almost requirement to take one of these core courses in high school, whether it counts as like a kines or like a sociology kind of credit, but also at least one economics course where they teach kind of taxes a little bit, different just the basics.
Right. Like,
so many people dude, I didn't start doing my own taxes until I was like 18, up until I'd had a job since I was like 13, 15 or whatever. And every year my dad would help me fill out the 1099 easy or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he started one year making me do it myself and was like, how do you read this? For the fill in zero, and zero reflects to this box. And, it was like, I didn't even know what zero was. Zero for zero exemptions. Like it was confusing at the time, but that's the kind of stuff they should teach you.
That's why I hire a tax person.
There you go.
So, but again, why not be able to just teach basic, simple concepts that you can wrap your mind around? Again, you're still going to need to get a professional, whatever, to help you, but at least you can understand the basics of way things work.
Yeah.
And again, in basic, simple
but maybe we're asking too much though, because if you look at these videos, like where people are asking like American students in the street, like who this president was or name 5 continents, and
but we're not asking too much. It's just our education system on a general level across the country is so fucking terrible that But a lot of it is that they just kind of push these kids along, right? They make sure that they pass these kids enough to be able to just, all right, on you go. The kid doesn't fucking know anything, but it's like, sure, here you go, right? And the parents are so busy because they have to fucking work and this and that and keep up with all this shit that they don't have time to worry about, is their child excelling? Is their child know what the fuck they're doing? And all of a sudden,
they only find out when their kid's like maybe not going to walk.
Yeah, not going to walk, or like they're graduating high school, but then you realize that the kid doesn't fucking know anything.
Yeah, because they somehow just pushed them through to the next grade by the skin of their teeth when they should have probably been held back.
Yeah, and so that's all it is. It's that the education system in the United States is just this.
it's a laughing stock. The rest of the world, China, all this, it looks at us and it's like,
when you have,
and then no offense, what's the word? It's escaping me right now. Where you force institutions to hire or enroll based on like race and ethnicity and not merit.
Oh, well, affirmative action.
Yeah. Things like even affirmative action, it just proves that it's not helping anybody.
Yeah.
I think in theory, the idea is good if any institution's being like racist or biased, but
I think it's two things. You have to be able to prove that, but what's funny about it is that affirmative action may have made sense for a period of time.
Yeah, but not
we've
now.
Moved well beyond.
The world's not like that. America's not like that.
No, it's not.
And if there is one place, it's going to get gaslit and blasted so much on the internet or anything else that it's going to get canceled or it's going to go under.
Exactly. What's funny is, as it should, because even any normal person, not these fucking woke psychos, would look at that and be like, that's really bad. I will not do business with them. Right?
Yeah, but going so far as to have colored only spaces or things like that, where we saw these like through 2020 and COVID was like, no, you can't sit here. This is a colored only building. It was like you went so far that you segregated yourself again.
Right.
You know?
And again, it doesn't make it any better that you're doing self-segregation.
We're doing more damage. What is it called? What was it? Reverse racism? What were we?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Reverse racism. Yeah. And so, I mean, but that is absolutely, I mean, affirmative action is proven. And also it's proven just to do more damage than anything because
people who are not qualified are getting in.
Correct, right?
It's kind of right now that all the major airlines are like trying to hire more diverse.
Yeah, they're saying.
So they're not even taking the best pilots.
Right. It's an initiative to have like 50% female pilots. And again, it's not. No one's saying the best women can't be pilots. Plane. It's saying. I think our argument would be like you say, I want the best pilot. I don't care if they're a man. I don't care if they're a woman. I don't care if they're gay. I don't care what they are.
Now, if you can,
I just want to know that they did everything they're supposed to do correctly to get to where they are. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Now, if you can prove that there were several women who were better qualified that got refused just because they're women, then great. Prove that. Take them to court. You'll probably win.
Yeah, and we're in your corner. That's wrong.
But just overlook the best candidate just for this PR move is
it's the same more concept of getting into things like medical school or whatever, right? Like, are we getting the best qualified people to be doctors or surgeons or like even like plastic or doing heart surgery, or is the department worried about, well, we need to make sure we have enough black surgeons and enough women surgeons?
Yeah, he did his clinicals. He didn't test and score the best, but it's good enough. Let's go ahead and put him
out. But again, he would help us in our efforts to be more inclusive. Like, again, you shouldn't exclude anyone per se unless they don't meet the criteria that's supposed to. And if that means that, let's say in a high education situation like being a doctor or a surgeon, if that means, unfortunately, there is a much higher volume of, let's say, Indian or Asian individuals, or even African, right? Because there's a good number of like proper, I would say proper African, right, black men and women who, again, like any other immigrants, right, come to the United States and they value family, working hard, education, right, and they get into these positions, right. You see those versus what you would see as your typical, Hispanic American or Black American or whatever, because culturally the education isn't as valued as those.
Yeah, I closed a homeowner today. He's like African.
Yeah.
From South Africa. Like black. And
like actually black.
And he's a cargo pilot. So he doesn't fly commercial, but it's transit, it's cargo. And so he's either in Tokyo or he's here, he's there. I was talking to him. And like he barely made his closing. We had to reschedule because he was stuck in Tokyo. The The company put him up in a hotel for 3 days in Tokyo while they're waiting for the next flight to come back. But instead of staying for 3 days, he hopped a different flight just to get here in time so we can close on his house. But the company was supposed to put him up. I'm like, dude, he's from South Africa. Like,
a baller.
His wife can't even leave the country. So they had to do power of attorney and stuff. So they're trying to work on getting her out.
She's still in South Africa?
Yeah. So as far as like opportunities and things like that, obviously they're still having their own struggles. But that just means he worked extra hard to get to the position where he's even at.
Yeah, that dude's like, a baller.
I don't care what your skin color is or what. And there's a lot of issues right now in South Africa where they feel like it's almost like racism all over again, you know? There's this like movement or whatever in South Africa, wasn't there, or something where it's like too many white people or there's discriminating.
Yeah, it's very weird. But
yeah, it's murky. But my point is like there were hurdles for him to come across, obviously, and nothing's holding him back. So it's more of
and if he's a cargo pilot,
stigma.
you know that dude makes he makes a lot of money.
Yep.
Like they pay guys like that like buku bucks.
Must be nice.
It must be nice.
So speaking of that, we do have a merch shop. If you
we do. Teespring. We got tees. They'd be good for the spring.
Could be. We probably should look into other merch and stuff too. Maybe some Christmas stuff. I don't know. Seems past the point.
Yeah. But we should probably highlight our merch again, like on our Instagram and stuff, just to kind of like, hey,
you're the Instagram guy.
I know. I'm terrible at it, but anyway. Come back next week for our Christmas special. I'll think of something good.
Later.